Darkness. Complete, consuming darkness. The streets of Makkah were silent, but inside that silence, something stirred. A strange restlessness, a fear, dissolved into the very air itself. A figure moves carefully through the night. His eyes hold a light that doesn't belong to this world. He walks straight toward a structure that every soul on this earth had heard of. Al-Kaaba. But at that time, this Kaaba was nothing like what it is today. At that time, what was kept inside this house would make your soul tremble just hearing it. Don't scroll, don't skip, because what I'm about to tell you, this isn't just history. This is a story that will change the way you see the world. So let's travel back, far, far back. We're talking about Makkah before Islam, an era when every tribe across Arabia worshipped its own gods, when human beings bowed before stones, when the darkness was so deep that even imagining light felt impossible. And at the center of all that darkness stood the Kaaba. Yes, that very Kaaba, the one that today stands as the symbol of pure monotheism, the same house toward which the entire world lowers its forehead in prayer. But before Islam, what was inside that house would break your heart to even think about. Ibrahim alayhi salam had built this house for the worship of one God and one God alone. We all know that. But then centuries passed, generations changed, and slowly, one by one, people began bringing their own idols into this sacred house. First one, then two, then 10, then 100, until, finally, 360 idols, 360. Each idol belonging to a different tribe, each one representing that tribe's power, each one anchoring that tribe's identity. Every tribe placed its idol inside the Kaaba, not because they were searching for truth, but because if your idol was inside the Kaaba, you were somebody. You had honor. You had influence, politics, power, and religion all twisted into one. But this was just the beginning. Among all of them, 3 idols stood above the rest. Hubal, Lat, Uzza. Hubal, carved from red carnelian stone in the shape of a man, the greatest idol of the Quraysh, the one before whom oaths were sworn, the one before whom arrows were cast to decide a person's fate. Lat, a great flat rock, worshipped like a mother by the people of Taif. People sat in her shade. Sacrifices were made in her name. Uzza, the one said to dwell among the trees of Nakhla, feared above all. Blood was spilled in her honor. And in the midst of all this, the sacred darkness of the Kaaba, where there were only stones, yet inside those stones, people poured their hopes, their fears, their prayers. Was there anyone who could stand up and say, all of this is a lie? There was, one person. But his story comes a little later. Now picture the Makkah that existed before Islam. Hajj happened, but what kind of Hajj? People came from far and wide. Tribes arrived, each with their own idols, each with their own rituals. The tawaf of the Kaaba was performed, but without proper clothing. Not because these were noble people choosing humility, but because it was their custom, their religion, their worship. There were disputes between people, there were stories, wine flowed freely, songs filled the air, the biggest festival in all of Arabia. And inside the Kaaba, those 360 idols, pressed against one another, silent in the shadows, watching, with stone eyes, the very people who were calling out to them. But think about it. Did those people ever find joy? Any real peace? A mother wept. Her daughter had died. She went to her idol. She held the stone and cried. The stone said nothing. A father begged for his son's recovery from illness. He cast arrows before Hubal. The arrows answered, "Wait." His son died anyway. A woman, abandoned by the people she loved, went to Lat. She asked for something. The stone stayed silent. Stones are always silent. And yet people kept coming. Because when a human being has no one, they reach out toward any door they can find. And then, one day, everything changed. But how? We'll get to that. Amid all of this, there was one man. He walked through the streets of Makkah. He sat in the golden darkness and thought, He would stop and stare at the idols, questions burning in his eyes, unrest in his heart. What is this? What can these stones possibly give? Can these silent figures actually hear anything? He would retreat to the cave of Hira, hours, days, night. He would think. He would search. Muhammad, peace be upon him. This son of Qura, the world had not yet recognized him, but God had already chosen him. But the real test was still ahead. Then that day came. The day when the cave of Hira held both darkness and light. The day when something happened that changed the destiny of all humanity. Iqra, read, one word, but within that one word, the secret of the entire universe. Muhammad, peace be upon him, came home trembling. Hazrat Khadija, R.R. wrapped him in her cloak. She held him, she steadied him, and that message, the one that came from Hira, slowly began to spread, street by street, home by home, heart by heart. And then, one day, something happened that no one had ever imagined possible. The day of the conquest of Makkah, 8 Hijri, the gates of Makkah opened. Muhammad, peace be upon him, was not on a horse. He was on a camel, his head bowed low, his humility so profound that his body nearly folded in gratitude. No arrogance, no pride, only thankfulness, only reverence. And he stood before the Kaaba, that very Kaaba, once filled to the brim with 360 idols. In his hand was a staff. He pointed toward each idol, one by one, and one by one they fell. Jar al-Haq wa zahaq al-Batil. Truth has come, and falsehood has vanished. Stone after stone cracked and hit the ground. Lie after lie met its end. 360 darknesses, each one extinguished, until only one light remained, the light of Tawheed, the light of the one God. And when he entered the Kaaba, what did he find inside? Inside the Kaaba there were paintings, images carved into the walls, even a painting of Ibrahim alayhi salam, depicted with arrows in his hand as though he were engaged in fortune-telling. Muhammad, peace be upon him, looked at it, and pain crossed his blessed face. By Allah, he never cast arrows. This is a lie. By his command, everything was erased, everything was cleansed, and that Kaaba, which had been a house of idols for centuries, became once again the house of God, his alone. My friend, this story is not just history. This is the story of how, no matter how deep the darkness, a single ray of light is enough. This is the story of how the forces of the world, the tribes, the idols, the traditions, all of it is wiped away when the moment of truth arrives. And this is the story of how, even today, when we perform tawaf around the Kaaba, when we lay eyes upon that black stone, when we stand before that door and weep, we are becoming part of that same journey, a story that is still alive. But one question still remains. After the conquest of Makkah, when Muhammad, peace be upon him, stepped back outside, the people of Quraysh, who had been his enemies, who had tormented him for years, who had waged war against him, they were all standing there, trembling, terrified. What would happen to them now? Muhammad, peace be upon him, looked at them. Silence. And then, one word left his blessed lips, a word that had never been spoken at the end of any war in the history of this world. That word, and what happened next, is the real plot twist. The real story was only just beginning. We'll meet in the next part. Until then, share this video with someone who loves Islamic history. And if this is your first time on this channel, make sure you subscribe, because what's coming next, you've never heard it told like this before.